fans, welcome back to another edition of the Coaches Show. Nick Merrick here with Dan Wildfong. Not the weekend that Brahmas would have hoped for this past weekend against Topeka. However, they were the top team, but coming away with no points. Now a big weekend against Rio Grande Valley, fresh off a loss against Corpus Christi on Wednesday night. Coach, let's talk about what happened in Topeka and kind of the learning experience that it was. After the 9-game homestand, the boys went on the road and came away with 2 losses, but did battle hard.
Yeah, obviously we're not happy with the result, but at the end of the day, I thought our guys competed and battled well. Those were 2 good hockey games. I thought we struggled a little on Friday, but we really it was kind of like the series here. Like when we played Topeka, we could have won, they could have won, and I think obviously. They played a very solid defensive game against us up there. We didn't get many shots on net, and their goaltender played well. And we got to generate more against those teams like that.
But looking at it, too, this is one where the Brahmas had a game Wednesday, then a very shortened Thanksgiving, and then right back on the road, to face Topeka the very next morning. So on Black Friday, it's a 6 a.m. bus ride up there, and having to adjust to the ice, first road trip to Topeka. It's always a learning curve, but, do you feel like the team could have changed some things in preparation for that, or do you think it was just one goal went the wrong way and that's kind of led to the downfall?
No, I don't like making excuses about our travel or anything. Everyone in the league has a tough travel at some point. You got to learn to battle through that. You're going to have to do it in playoffs. You're going to have to win some games at home and on the road. It's not just it's about adversity and dealing with it, and I think we mentally, I thought we were ready to go. I don't think we were on Friday. We gotta figure out how to win and be prepared come Friday, first drop of the puck, and not wait till get ready and then Saturday or second, third period on in Friday's game. So we really got to get focused here on playing on the road. Obviously, we got games coming up this weekend at home and next weekend at home, but we got to start putting things together on the road.
Talk to me behind the scenes, too, of the Brahmas, of what goes through your coaching standpoint of we're down a goal. How do you fire this team up to keep with it and knowing that the game's within reach?
Well, I think it's a process. A lot of guys that want to start doing too much and they put a lot on their shoulders, and we just tell them, listen, be patient. It's going to happen, especially in tight games. It's the teams that stick with it, and they when they get their opportunities, they bury. It's not the teams that panic and that they try to do too much and toe drag at lines, and you get turnovers, and you don't play the physical game that you need to play, and you maybe try too offensive to make a push too early, and that's when you go down by 2, and then you're in trouble.
Well, it's safe to say the Brahmas aren't used to losing, and now after picking up those 2 losses against Topeka, what was the week's practice like? Do you feel the guys responded well?
We had a good week of practice. I thought we have some guys out that were sick, but most of the guys, when we went out there, we competed hard. I thought we learned some new stuff this year that we haven't really worked on in the past as much, and I thought guys really competed and battled well this week, and hopefully they do come out with a little snarl hopefully this weekend and impress the fans.
Speaking of new drills too, just looking at a couple practices this week, different drills too. What goes in mind from your standpoint of knowing what drills to focus on in order to improve the team?
Well, we see what you can't cover everything at the beginning of the year. We have a strategy in mind of what we want to do at this point of the year, this point of the year, and this point of the year. And now we're kind of into the mid-quarter, first quarter
right.
of the season. So we're starting to work on a little bit different stuff that's hopefully going to help us defend better and play a lot harder to play against.
Well, and there's no doubt, too, this Brahmas team is certainly a championship-driven team, and that means a lot of preparation comes off the ice with you and your assistant, Jeff Potter. Just looking in the locker room, you guys do weekly scouting reports, which I know typical teams do, but, to understand what it is, it's a sheet that breaks down all the different scenarios that might be thrown to them based on the scouting that you guys do. Just how much work goes into putting those sheets together and knowing that, hey, this isn't just practicing games. This is around the clock and making sure this team is prepared from all angles.
Well, we want to make sure that we're prepared, like you said. We want to make sure that guys know scenarios, tendencies that other teams have. And if you don't do that, I don't feel we're doing our homework and doing our work to try and get every possible scenario to win games. It takes a lot of work to win games on and off the ice, and I feel if you're mentally understand the situations, it's going to help you succeed. And I think our guys are really buying into that, and they're studying the sheets when they take home, and they're knowing what scenarios they have and tendencies they have, and they're exploiting them or knowing it's going to happen.
And looking at a couple things to touch on this weekend against Rio Grande Valley, Friday night, Saturday night games here in the NITEC Sports Center. This is a Rio Grande Valley team that had numerous penalties on Wednesday against Corpus Christi. A couple fights broke out. We've seen the Brahmas kind of play that physical edge as well, as both teams are pretty highly penalized in terms of numbers of the league. But the Brahmas special teams play is far superior to that of Rio Grande Valley up to this point. So what's it going to take? Is that something you're looking to kind of capitalize on come this weekend?
Well, Joe Coombs is an unbelievable coach, and I think they struggled at the beginning of the year. When you struggle at the beginning of the year, your numbers don't reflect where you are today. And Joe has did a fabulous job of cleaning a lot of that up. We can see it on video. They only given up, if you looked at their numbers, they gave up a ton at the beginning, not many now. Mm-hmm. So I think they cleaned that part of their game up. We're not concerned about, we love playing 5-on-5. We can play with it. I feel we can play all situations. So as long as we don't get the stupid penalties and get in the box and hurt ourselves, if we do that, then we'll be in trouble. But I'm not scared of their power play or penalty kill. It's something that we're just aware of.
Well, to go off that credit for the numbers, I think the first half dozen games, the Killer Bees penalty kill was at 70%. So that shows there it brings down numbers. But it is much improved now. But looking at the last time these two teams faced off here, North Richland Hills, it came down to the third period both games, and it was one where you were able to fire up the Brahmas, and something came to life in the third period of both those games and tie hockey games. Obviously, you never want to be on the edge of your seat. It makes a great show for the fans, but I know the Brahmas just want to pull away with games earlier and more often. What's going to need to change for that game plan to execute?
Well, I want us to be winning by 4 or 5 goals going into the third period, but like I said, this division is very tight. Every game, it's very well coached. Every game means something. We have a team where we have to learn to win those games and those tight games, and that we lost them last weekend and we won them the weekend before. So, it's about sticking to the game plan, staying patient, doing all your details, and that hopefully will get you on the right side of the win column.
Is it comforting, too, knowing that you had basically a full month here in NITEX, go away for 1 weekend, then back for 4 more home games?
Yeah, it's obviously, we've been successful at home here. The crowds really helps us, really motivate us to play that the style we play is hard and, physical. And, the guys really respond to the crowd. And if we can continue to keep doing well here, we just got to start cleaning up the stuff on the road.
We saw a couple of home weekends with fights, maybe round 3 this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's obviously part of the game, and guys don't like fighting as much anymore because they're sitting in the box for 15 minutes, and that's a long time for a kid. It's almost like sitting out a game. As much as the fans like it, and it's part of the game, the players don't want to be sitting in the box for 15 minutes. If it was 5 minutes, I think you'd see a lot more, and it would be. But you have to think about it a little bit more than just Joe drop the gloves, and I think they're trying to clean up that part of the game.
Well, if you guys disagree with the 15-minute fighting penalty that many of us do, be sure to comment below, too. We'll share some thoughts there. But thanks, Coach, for joining us in the Coach's Corner. We're going to take a break here on the Coach Show. When we come back, we're going to have our player spotlight with Liam Sturtzinger.
Zaroma's Bar and Grill. Zaroma's only uses the freshest ingredients. Located inside the NYTEX Sports Center, Zaroma is your one-stop shop for food, friends, and Lone Star Brahmas watching parties. Visit www.zaroma.net for menu, directions, and delivery information.
Welcome back to the Player Spotlight. Nick Merrick here with forward Liam Sturzinger. Liam, Topeka in the past, obviously not the result the Brahmas wanted, hoping at least to split the series against Topeka. However, a hard-fought game, at least on Friday. I know Coach wanted some changes made on Saturday, but what's the big learning experience from that weekend?
I think that playing on the road, we need to play a lot more simpler than we did. A good team like that, they capitalize on the mistakes we made. We just got to get pucks in deep and work harder than them and win that way.
Does that come back to this team being so comfortable at playing at home where, it is hard. I mean, when you're playing a game on Wednesday, you're on the road the day after a holiday, and now here you have to adjust that sheet of ice. You have to figure it out. It was your first time in Topeka this year. Is there a learning process with that traveling experience?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were at home for, 9 games, and when we play at home, we just come in with this confidence where we know we're going to win the game. That's how we feel. And then going to Topeka, we haven't been on the road in a while. Not that it was an excuse, but we just got to learn to play simpler on the road and get it done.
What's it going to take them to play more simple?
Just getting pucks in deep behind their defense and run and gun, hit their defensemen so that they start flinging pucks. And that's all it's going to take, and just work harder than them.
Well, from that learning experience, then this weekend taking on Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees, back in town yet again for their second weekend this season. Liam, at home, 4 of your 5 goals have come here in Brahmaland. Obviously this is a place you've been comfortable now, having an extra year here. What's it like to kind of be able to bring it every day at home for the fans?
Well, I think that it's a lot easier when you have 2,000 plus people behind you. You get the adrenaline going. So it's kind of hard not to play good at home. But you just got to stick with the same process every single day, and hopefully it'll take you where you need to go.
And now behind the scenes, too, with the coaches, this isn't a situation where it's just practice, game. There's a lot of stuff that goes off the ice, too. Talk me through first, what goes through with the coaching sessions, what goes through the video work. Every day I see players shuffling in and out and having more with coaches and going over some film. Talk me about some of those film sessions.
Well, usually we do film sessions either the Wednesday or Thursday before a game, and then after the Friday game, we'll do it Saturday morning of the game before, just to regroup a little bit, what their tendencies are. And, we just had our player meetings with the coaches this week. It's the 20-game mark, so it's technically our quarter meeting. So we just kind of catch up what we need to improve on and stuff like that.
It's usually like the report cards. Even when they're on the rink, they're still getting graded. Coach doing a good job, though, with this Brahmas team. Obviously, it is one of the best starts to Brahmas history. Coaching a big reason for that. The players are a big reason for that. But now looking at Rio Grande Valley, this is a team that struggled on special teams, and the Brahmas have found success. Yourself playing on the power play unit many a times, seeing you out there on the ice with Vidmar, among others. But what's it like to see this team find success, and what's it going to take to capitalize against Rio Grande Valley in round 2?
I think everyone has bought into what our coaches are putting out there for us, and that's making us the most successful. Some people are going to play on the power play, some people aren't. Some people need a penalty kill, and each guy out there is doing their job, and they're doing it well. So that's what's making us the most successful.
And then a little more personal dive. You and Hunter Stanley are 2 players who come from California and now moved to Texas to play hockey. Typically, you see the hockey route, being more Midwest or Northeast, and now those players coming down to Texas find it weird, but for you, it's nothing different.
Yeah, it's pretty similar here. Hunter Stanley lives 10 minutes from my house, and I rarely see him at home, so it's good I see him here every day. So even when I go back home, I probably won't see him that much. We have different groups of friends and stuff. So
what's it like coming from the different organization when you were with the Titans to now coming to the Brahmas and having those 2 years? What was the biggest learning curve for you? Was it just getting away from home? Was it you developing your game at a higher level?
Last season was probably getting away from home. It was my first year away from home, but this year was pretty easy, and just learning how to play different systems every night, and for a new coach was different, but I think I've adjusted pretty well, and I'm used to it now. And
I know you talked to that Coach Wildfong is one of the most intense and hardworking coach that you've had, of the few that you've had. But how does that intensity that he brings kind of fuel the locker room? Like talk me through what happens when the Brahmas are up 1-0. What's being exchanged in the locker room that kind of keeps that vibe going?
Well, for him, he always wants perfection, even though it's kind of hard to get perfection, but he always pushes us to become a better player. Even if we're playing good, there's always an extra gear that you could have, which will make us strive for excellence pretty much.
Is that something that kind of helps the players kind of buckle down? And the fact that he's expecting a high expectation, and we've already seen the talent this team has, fighting for roster spot every single day. Yeah. Is that, are those words obviously taken wholeheartedly, knowing that I need to listen to this, otherwise, it might be a scratch day for me?
Yeah, we have every guy could play any position. I mean, we have 24 guys, 25 guys that could play in the lineup every night, so it's hard. You got to work hard every night, and he motivates us to become our best and play our best every game. What
are you guys expecting out of Rio Grande Valley this weekend?
They're a tough team to play against. Their D, they gap up real well. We've been working on that all week, our D gaps. And we just got to run and grind them in the corner and make opportunities of our chances and limit their chances for sure.
Well, toughest task to do in hockey is have a winning streak, not to mention at home. 11-0 this season here in the NITEC Sports Center. The Brahmas back in action Friday, Saturday against Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees. But that'll do it for this week's edition of the Coaches Show. We'll see you next time and on the ice this weekend.